Okay, buddy, you're gonna have the best time.
Imagine
So much fun.
it's your first day of swim lessons. Your mom is so excited for you. You're gonna love it. It's so much fun, she says. You stand at the edge of the pool alongside your friends, laughing nervously, ready to jump in with them. Your instructor gives her last bit of encouragement, and you jump. Your friends are taking off. You watch them, wanting to join, but you struggle. You struggle to stay afloat. You don't understand. It's so easy for your friends, but you can barely keep your head above water. After a few lessons, your mom asks, "Are you having a good time? Isn't it fun?" You answer honestly, "I hate it. I never want to go back." Your mom looks at you with concern and says, "Sweetie, I'm really sorry, but you have to go back. You're going to have to go back until you learn this." Now imagine that this isn't about swimming lessons in a swimming pool, but your classroom at school. And instead of learning to swim, you are being taught for the first time to read and write. Your friends somehow seem to get it so easily, but no matter how hard you try, it just doesn't click. You stare at the page. Letters and numbers swim in a whirlpool of confusion, and you feel like you're drowning. This is what it feels like for a child with a learning disability.
10.
The signs and symptoms of learning disabilities are most often diagnosed in elementary school when a child begins to read and write. How the problem is addressed by the family and the school is of great importance.
So in 4th grade, about halfway through my 4th grade year, I was really struggling through math and reading fluently and making friends, and it would affect the way that I learned in the classroom, and it would make me like it would just affect like my ability to learn and my ability to be myself in any circumstances. And so my mom had me tested, and the woman, when she tested me, she was like, "Well, your daughter has this weird thing," and then they didn't tell me how to fix it. They just put me in therapy classes and was like, "This will fix it."
During elementary school, I was sent to the University of Maryland because they thought I was retarded and because I was writing backwards. And really, all these doctors were asking me all these questions, why are you doing this? Can you do this for us now? And it was like, okay, well, and they would ask me all these different questions, and finally my mom just looked at them and she was just like, "Honey, why are you doing that?" And I said, "Well, because I can do it faster backwards than they can forward." And they just looked at me like, "Really?"
Learning disabilities such as dyslexia, dysgraphia, auditory processing disorder, to name a few, are neurologically based processing problems. Students with these processing problems relate to and process information differently than other students, which can put them at a disadvantage if not given the skills to accommodate for their unique way of learning. More often than not, a person with a learning disability suffers with more than one disorder at a time and may also struggle with attention deficit, organizational skills, abstract reasoning, both short and long-term memory, so it's easy to imagine how a student suffering from a learning disability and who tries so hard to keep up with his or her studies often feels frustrated.
Okay, I'm going to mix these up now, and last thing is I want you to put them where they're...
At North Cross, Crosswalk is the integrated school program designed for students with learning disabilities that provides the necessary tools and support for learning that these bright students need.
So the Crosswalk classroom is a very special place. We use the Orton-Gillingham approach in our classrooms, and the Orton-Gillingham approach is a little different from what you might find somewhere else. It is an approach, which means that it's not a scripted program. So we can be very flexible in the way that we teach our students. We can meet them exactly where they are. It's a systematic, structured, multisensory approach that allows us to determine when a child has mastered a specific skill and then move on. So it's based on the child's individual success.
Like, everything we do in Crosswalk is creative in some way, whether we're doing a poem and writing down every single thing that comes to mind, or putting the pieces together in a math problem, or some way they just find a way to make it for me. And so I think that they've realized that I need to be creative.
Just because you have dyslexia doesn't mean you're different. Well, you are different, but it's only in the way that you learn, and that is not a bad thing at all. You learn to be more focused on things like reading or lines in a play and things on tests, that when you go into a career, say like acting, you're more attentive, so you memorize things easier and stuff like that.
Orton Gillingham uses a multi-sensory approach to learning so that all the senses are being used to take the information in the best pathway for the brain to process it and to be able to bring that knowledge back out onto paper and in the reading process. It helps the brain get the information more clearly and be able to produce those skills more consistently.
Ready for visual drill? Okay.
C, K, F, F,
Nice. Okay, so this is a multisensory approach to teaching reading and spelling. Multisensory includes visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. And as you see here, there's visual, auditory, and tactile. The tactile increases fine motor memory for phonemes, which are the sounds of the letters and the connection to the letters. And a multisensory approach is sequential, and everything is explicitly taught, and the children rehearse and practice, and the instructor takes notes, and it's prescriptive, and we work from where each individual child is. Okay, guys, you ready? Okay.
What's so nice about the way that the Crosswalk program is structured is that our students come to us during their Spanish class time. So when the rest of their class is going to Spanish, they come to us to just have some additional practice with English. So it fits seamlessly into their school day, and then they don't have to go to a tutor after school. So this allows them to have a life after school just like every other child.
It really makes them feel like, well, I'm part of the whole school. I just happen to go to this particular class when other kids are in another class. So they start being more comfortable. They recognize that they're making progress, and every day they're getting little victories. And those little victories start putting a smile on their face, and they start enjoying coming to school. It makes the whole learning process very different. And they're part of a great school. They get the rest of North Cross along with the Crosswalk education.
Like, I have classmates that go there, and we're really close because we go to Crosswalk together and we learn the same way, and we know no matter what, we're gonna be there for each other because we learn the same way, and we're all a family there. And it's really amazing how they've created that atmosphere in there.
I'm just really, really thankful for Ms. Perlman and everyone else that has anything to do with this school or with Crosswalk, because they've given her that ability to succeed. She went from fighting us tooth and nail about going to school when she was going to public school to quite literally being up before we were she would go in, shower, be dressed, and in the kitchen, eating and looking over her books, getting ready to go to school before we were even really out of bed. To me, that speaks volumes. She wants to get here. She wants to do her work. She wants to be challenged, and she wants to succeed. I can't think of anything else to say other than that as far as a testimonial to the success that she's had with this program.
In the few short years since Crosswalk began, it has changed the lives of many students and has proven to be such a vital asset to North Cross that an expanded and dedicated Crosswalk learning space is included in the master plan for the capital campaign. It is the mission of the school to provide the best possible education for all bright minds. Crosswalk looks forward to serving an even greater number of these bright minds in the years to come.